2015 is now come and gone, reminding us all that we're all getting older and it's going to take even longer to scroll through the years to select your birth year on those online forums now. Believe me, it'll get more and more annoying every year. But my 2015 was actually quite exciting. I started the year off like many before. I had no clue how I was going to stay in the country. I'd been looking for a job for a while and I finally landed a great one in late January. Turns out they pulled me in for my first interview because they thought one of my YouTube videos were funny and they liked my puns. Also at the beginning of the year, besides from kicking off with 78,000 subscribers, I moved into a flat with my friend Dodie. It was something I never thought would actually happen, but it did, and we've been living here for about a year now. Sometimes we argue about the silliest of things, but for the most part, we good. After flying to Florida in February to attend my 4th Playlist Live, Dodie and I flew to New Zealand in March and went on a road trip. We met loads of viewers in Auckland, went to Hobbiton, which for some reason here looks like a nipple. I can assure you Dodie and I did not stand next to a giant nipple. That is a Hobbit door, folks. It's a central knob. Other than that, though, we also got to relive a lot of the Lord of the Rings, and we even got to go swimming through the caves in Waitomo with the glowworms, jumping off the caves. I almost hit my head in the cave ceiling, though, because I'm a bit too tall. My favorite part of the trip was during our long drive to Queenstown when we took a detour through the mountains to get to Edoras, or Mount Sunday. We passed this beautiful lake in the mountains, and we had to stop to take pictures. We also may have sang a little song. Then when night fell, the stars filled the sky so much I swear I'd never seen so many in my life, and that was also the first time I've ever seen the Milky Way out in person, and it was just beautiful. Later on, we hung out with friends in Melbourne, Australia, and then we went exploring Sydney. We also accidentally bumped into Tony Abbott, the Prime Minister at the time, in a cafe. Bit weird, mate. After visiting Belgium and Luxembourg the next month, some friends and I did a 10-day road trip all around the west of the US. I got to hike up Angel's Landing in Zion National Park and sleep in a Navajo mud hut. However, according to everyone on the trip, I snored very loudly, so they kept throwing all their things at me to try and shut me up, but I'd always fall back to sleep before they could, and they'd end up having to try and wake me again and hope to fall asleep before me. I woke in the morning covered in bras and trousers. It looked like I had quite a crazy night, and that's why my friend Steve now calls me the Snorlax. But I was sick, okay? I don't always snore. I'll actually have a sore throat right now, so if I was snoring yesterday, that's probably why. On one of the last days of the trip, I took the challenge to hike down to the bottom of the Grand Canyon. It proved a lot harder than I thought, when at the very bottom, while setting up my camera, I fell into a giant cactus. From then on, I was known as the Cactus Guy. After taking a weekend trip to Denmark, July rolled around and I went on my annual trip to LA for VidCon. I got to hang out with so many friends that I missed from America, and I met some new ones too. I like how I even drew the rain there, because I am British. I'm so British that it even rains in LA when I'm there. Yeah? Speaking of meeting new friends, when I got back to England, I had an open Saturday, so I sprung for a ticket to Brighton to go on the Stony Beach, and there I got to meet my friend Gabby. We hadn't really planned on hanging out for so long, but we ended up chatting the whole day, playing pool, drinking cider, and eating Wagamamas. Also, her cat did one of the smelliest poos I've ever witnessed in my life. That thing could probably wake the dead. Also, I made another good friend in Brighton named Connie. She's pretty rad. Sorry I can't draw you, Connie. In September, Dodie, Brian, and I got a chance to go to Israel to explore Tel Aviv and Jerusalem. Coincidentally, while we went there was quite a rare sandstorm happening, but we all still had a really good time. Also, a very hot time, because it was hot. Did I mention it was really hot? Because it was one of the hottest things I've ever done in my life. One of the coolest things we got to do, though, was float in the Dead Sea. It was such a weird experience not needing to tread water to stay afloat. However, some of my skin was raw from walking so much, so it felt like my legs were on fire for the entirety that I was in the water. I wanted to be dead, to join the Dead Sea with the dead, yeah. Also in September, I made a decision to leave the company I was at to pursue a more challenging role, heading acquisition for a startup called Traffic. I really liked the vision of the app and how it could help people down the road, so it didn't really make the decision too hard. I got to hang out with the other employees in Lithuania while playing laser tag, and they were pretty great. Around this time, I met a girl from Tinder, and we hit it off quite well. For our third date, I took her to the premiere of Ed Sheeran's movie in London, and somehow we got in the final cut of the film. There's literally a solid 5 seconds of us getting papped in the film. It's amazing. Definitely date goals. I'm just glad she kept talking to me after I rage quit from a game of Civilization 5. That game just takes too long sometimes. In November, my friend Luke and I took a trip to Slovenia and got to explore the deep caves of Postojna Cave. We both really enjoyed it despite the fact that it was ridiculously cold. I forgot to bring my coat because there's something wrong with my brain, and Luke got to drive the train. It was pretty cool. Sadly, in December, the lovely girl I'd met in September had to go back to the US because she was only here for a semester abroad. No matter how many times I tried convincing myself that I wouldn't get attached and I wouldn't feel upset because I knew she was moving back, I knew it wouldn't be long, we weren't even a thing, but we were a thing, but we weren't a thing, I very much did get attached and I very much was upset. I had quite a disconsolate car ride taking her to the airport. I'd like to explain that day as the polar opposite of Love Actually at the departures gate of Heathrow. Every Christmas I end up chilling in London alone because everyone else always goes to hang out with their families, so this year I decided to go somewhere hot and exotic on holiday. I flew off to Bali and got to see and experience such a unique culture that even though a lot of things went wrong during my trip, including some pretty bad food poisoning and sleep deprivation, I managed to really enjoy myself. I got to scuba dive through a sunken US ship at one point. It was amazing, and I also fully travel vlogged the entire thing, and I'm really proud of the travel vlog, so if you haven't yet checked out my travel channel, please go here, check that out, because the videos up there are amazing. I've got a lot of exciting stuff planned for 2016. I just wanted to say thank you to all of you for coming along for the ride, whether you've been here for a long time, if you've been here since 2015, it doesn't really matter, even if you subscribed yesterday. Thank you. Thank you for being here. If you liked this though, and you liked my amazing art, please be sure to give this video a big thumbs up, and check out my last video if you haven't yet. I will see you guys next week. Thank you so much for watching. Goodbye.